Hello and welcome to another one of my videos, and in today's video I'm kind of starting a new mini series which it will probably be quite sporadic. It's going to be centered around a professional coin dealer gives advice. The reason I want to do this was because I see a lot of questions from new people. Some of the advice and some of the topics that I'm going to go through have already been covered in prior videos. However, it's always important to kind of put this advice out there. Some people will heed it. Some people will be like, you're talking rubbish. You don't know what you're talking about, Sean. Go away. So yeah, today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what coin should you buy. I think this is fundamentally a very important question. I think a lot of people get it wrong. I think a lot of people get burnt doing this. And it's probably important for someone like myself or another dealer or someone who trades to really put their stamp on this and say, well, actually, you need to do things in a certain way. So let's start from the beginning. You need to know as an individual what your own goals are and what your own financial situation is. Now, I would never say to someone, go 100% gold or 100% silver or 100% platinum, palladium, whatever, take your pick. For me, I'd say you need to have a balanced portfolio. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm really not. But I've traded thousands of times. I know what works. I know what doesn't. I've got to the stage in my career, so to speak. Now, I don't want to be a coin dealer forever. I've been perfectly clear and honest about that. But I've got to a stage where this pays me very well. So it wasn't always the case. Past year or so, I've made a lot of money. Like relatively compared to my peers, I've made a lot of money. But before that, I did struggle, and that was more to do with cash flow. And also, I've got better at trading. But the first thing I'll say is, what are your own individual goals? So you need to know how long you want to hold. You need to know before you buy how you plan to sell it. That's very important. If you don't plan to sell it, again, that's another dimension to the question. Like if your goal is just to stack it until retirement or to pass it on to your kids, you're going to have a very different strategy and very different approach to what you want to buy. Now, there's many things you can buy in the coin world, not just in terms of metal, but in terms of, for example, if you're going numismatic, the high end of the market, or if you're going bullion, it all depends on your own strategy in terms of selling, in terms of what you're going to buy and over what time period you're going to buy for. It frustrates me. It really frustrates me when you see people and they get the silver bug, they get the itch, and they're like, I want to buy this and I want to buy that, and they end up buying it, and then like, actually 2-3 months down the road, and in some extreme cases it's like next week, they're like, I have to sell it, and they make a loss, and that it kind of annoys me a bit, because had they had the correct information in front of them, and had they spoken to someone like myself or another dealer or someone who trades, someone who really knows about these matters, they wouldn't have made those mistakes. They probably would have held off a little while. They would have bought something slightly different, So if your goal is to sell to a dealer like myself or sell to another dealer, now different dealers pay different amounts. It depends who you're going to. If you go to a specialist coin dealer, they're going to pay you more money, It depends on how long they're going to sit on the stock, how much cost they have. Sorry. So for example, if you're going to a dealer who's got 6, 7, 8 members of staff, which that's feasible, they've got to pay for the premises, they've got to pay for people's time, national insurance, they've got to pay their taxes, they've got to pay their council tax and their rents as well. They're going to pay you less. Now, if you come to someone like me, they're going to pay you slightly more because the spread doesn't have to be as wide when selling. But if you're going to sell to a dealer, you buy something that is low premium. Don't worry about buying your semi-numi or your specialist. Your bullion is going to be coins in and coins out. Now, you could argue that you want to buy a numismatic, and that's fair enough if you're a collector and you're going to sell to a dealer. A dealer will pay fair rates if they know you're clued up about what you own. But the onus is on you to be clued up. So if you go to a dealer and you have, say, a specialist sovereign, say a 2012 proof sovereign, and you say, I know on the open market it's going to be worth, say, 11 to £1,200. A dealer might offer you 900 on it, and that's okay. If you take it to a bullion dealer, they're just going to offer you a spot. That's not where you want to be. So it depends on your outgo. It depends on your goal in terms of how quickly you want to move it. Now, if you want to learn about coins and you want to collect and you want to build a collection, and you don't mind putting a bit of legwork in terms of selling, you've got plenty of options for selling. Again, you can go to a dealer, which I've already stated. You can sell peer-to-peer, you can sell via eBay, you can go to auctions. If you don't mind doing the legwork, it depends on how much legwork you want to do, and depends on how much you're going to get back out of it. Now, I say to people you should own a bit of everything. You should have a bit of Numi. You should have a bit of semi-numismatic, which is where I specialize in. That's my area. And you should have a bit of bullion. If you don't mind putting that legwork in, you don't mind learning a bit about the coin market, they kind of work in tandem. They go through stages where some things are hot, some things are not hot. Now, I recently bought a collection, a 20k collection, which I'm still paying down. The gentleman had pandas, and I said to him, the panda market's dead at the moment. It's completely dead. People don't want pandas. They're not prepared to pay a premium for it, so I'm not prepared to pay a premium for it. Had it been another case where the market was hot, I'm going to pay him more for it. And it's the same with individual peer-to-peer buyers, and it's the same with eBay. It's the same with auctions. Like, he's going to get most money by taking it peer-to-peer. He might get more on an auction, but he's going to lose a bit off the top due to the fees. Now, the auction is probably the best way to do it if you get the right auction and the items you own are hot. But over the long run, you need to plan these things. You need to really know your strategy. Now, I've always said you should have a combination of all three. The reason you should have a combination of all three when buying is because it gives you more outs. Very few people will build and build and build and build and just be done with the lot. There are whales that come along and say, I built a collection of 50k. I just want to get rid of the lot. They're typically come to someone like myself. But you need to think, how much are you willing to invest over time in these assets? The reality is, the less you invest, the easier it is to divest it as an individual via peer-to-peer. There are pitfalls to it though. So someone will probably sell to someone like me because I've built up that trust premium. That's very important. Now, I have some people come to me and they say, well, I want to sell peer-to-peer, but I've never sold anything. Like, I'm an honest person, and you have to take people for face value. Like, some of these people I know, and all they've done is buy. And I say to them, sell maybe 3 or 4 things, sell it slightly cheap. You might lose a bit of money. Hopefully you'll make a bit of money, but you're not going to maximize your profit potentially. You're going to make less money. However, you're going to build up that trust premium. So people are going to say, well, actually, I've done okay there. It's okay. So we've got that thing out of the way. You got to know your goals first. Secondly, you got to work out what you like, and you've got to understand that different coins react differently in different markets. So when spot is hot, so when spot price is shooting up, your semi-numi is going to kind of drag. It's going to act as an anchor. Bullion's going to go high. So in that situation, you want to have bullion to ping off. Now, this is under the idea that you don't sell everything at once and you're casually flipping to kind of build your stack, which is where I started essentially. Now, when spot is high, bullion is what goes first. I'll put semi-numi up and people are like, unless they want it for their collection, it's going to hold its price. It's not really going to rise because it's got that inset premium anyway, which is okay. Usually what happens is when spot drops, semi-numi will hold its value. Your bullion coins are going to not do so well. Now, numismatic is completely different. It doesn't follow the rules of spot. It won't. That depends completely on collector sentiment. There's going to go times with that when it's hot, and there's going to be times when it's not so hot as well. For example, modern proofs recently have had a great run. They're starting to drop back down now. That's part of the market. But the idea is you want to buy something that will weather all storms. You want to build up a collection or a portfolio of coins where some things are not doing so well, other things will be doing well. It does go in cycles. There's going to be times where the market is incredibly slow. I forecast 2 months a year. It's going to be slow. It's going to be tough for everyone, myself included. And there's going to be times where everything will sell. Literally everything. You cannot get coins in quick enough. Or I can't get coins in quick enough. I'll have a massive black book of people who want coins because the overall market sentiment is there. And that's usually driven by things outside of the gold community. For example, say the stock market's tanking. Everyone wants to put their money into fair weather assets such as gold and silver. Now, that's okay. You need to work these things out. But in terms of what to buy, again, it depends on your goals. It depends on the legwork you want to put in, the amount of time you have, and also the type of portfolio you have overall. So the third point I wanted to come on to is, and this won't apply to my friends outside of the UK, there will be individual things in their own countries, such as tax relief, etc. I hear the question. I hear people say, you should only buy sovereigns and Britannias because they're CGT free. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. You need to work out your own individual circumstances in terms of your capital gains tax. The reality is most people won't go above that. I think the amount's around 10,000 a year. So you have to make £10,000 in profit every year on your coins. It's not going to happen. Go for what you think will make the most money. Now, the reason I like semi-numismatic is because I know I can build a portfolio of coins. There's going to be times where they won't sell. I know that. That's not a problem. But some of them, they're going to double in money. But the benchmark is bullion. So the bottom line is always what you can sell bullion for. Someone who buys from you when you sell it for the same price as Britannia feels like they got a good deal. And it's true. They probably have got a good deal. So you work backwards and you work out the risk of your semi-numi coins, knowing that some of them might make a small loss, but the gains are going to completely wipe out the losses. For me, as an investor, I like to get 10 of each coin minimum. Just put 10 to one side. A lot of people can't afford that. The less you go in terms of what you buy, the more you're going to pay in postage and the more it's going to eat into your price for when you sell, because you've got to pay postage on the way in and postage on the way out. You cannot get around that. If you're buying one coin, postage will kill you. It will literally kill you. The minimum I will sell for is plus 250 post. If you're buying a coin for £20 and it's 250 post, let's go for £25. That's probably where it's at actually, and the post is 250. That's 10%. You're going to have to make £30 on that coin, so the coin's going to have to go up 20% for you to even break even on one coin. So I set it at 10 coins minimum, or 10 coins in a bundle if I'm getting multiple types of coins in for your semi-numismatic. That's where you need to be. It's not simple, and it is a minefield, and you do need to work out your individual circumstance. You really do. Now, ideally you want to set it up that if you need a cash call, which is something that I have a lot, most people won't, but if you do have a cash call, say your car breaks down or your house is flooded because the roofing needs redoing, you have to have a first line defense and a last line of defense. So your first line defense will be your bullion, so to speak. You try and ping off the semi-numi, but if it doesn't sell, you move the bullion. The last line defense, you'd hope that there's some bullion left in case you come a cropper, because what will happen is if you do have a cash call and you need to fire sell quickly on the semi-numi, you're going to lose money. That's the bottom line. You need to have strong hands with this, or you need to able to have access to cash. There's nothing wrong with keeping cash. Cash flow is king. Cash is very bad at the moment. I hate holding cash, but it's a necessary evil to have because it facilitates trade, and it facilitates dealing with these issues that you haven't planned for. Life has a habit of throwing curveball at your face. it's going to happen. It doesn't matter if it's a one-off cost or your circumstances change, such as you lose your job, but you want to build a portfolio to kind of weather these storms. I've had it myself many times. So some people will come to me and they say, I want to sell you this, and I say, I'm not paying what I should pay you because I'm not in a position to do it. You've always got to play defensive. You play defensive, you build the baseline portfolio depending on your own goals and circumstances. Now, like I said, if you just want to sell to a dealer and you want instant liquidity, you go for gold sovereigns, you go for Britannias. I like tenths, it's money in, money out. But if you sell into a dealer, you go up to an ounce. Anything over an ounce, in my experience, you're at the onus of just the market. You're not going to have a choice. Most individuals can't afford 50 grams or 100 grams of gold. They are simply priced out of it. And there's going to be some people who say, well, that's not true. Like, I sold a 50 gram or 100 gram bar. Good for you. But the majority of people can't afford to buy it. That's just a fact. It's the higher gold goes, the more people will be priced out of the ounce and the half ounce. I find that the quarter ounce and the sovereign are pretty much the limit of what most people can afford. That's okay. You need to realize that the vast majority of people, or the average amount of people, will be earning average wages, and by the time they're taking away their own individual costs for rent, mortgage, car payments, children, or whatever it may be, there's not that much left over at the end. So if you do want to get most bang for your buck, and you want to sell to a dealer, I'd go for an ounce. If you want to sell peer-to-peer, I'd go for quarters, or I'd go for sovereigns. I hope this video has been informative. If you feel I've missed anything out, I am sorry. You're more than welcome to put something in the comment section. Say, actually, I want you to tackle this topic. I don't mind answering questions. I'm here to kind of help people. I've got to the stage in my life where I feel I can instill this wisdom and knowledge and skill set that I have built up over the years, and that's completely okay on my end. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. There will be more videos concerning different topics, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.